Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session. Thank you for your time. Today, we will talk about process design, experimentation, and tech transfer. We will introduce a little bit the topic and how Siemens is providing some tools to help you do that. And of course, we're doing that today with our partner, Soft and Lab, and especially Julien will present a little bit the activities that he can do with some of our tools to help you facilitate, I would say, this process design phase and tech transfer. They've been using Riffyn for many years now, and they're a Siemens customer as well. Their use case is very, very interesting. What they're doing is that they're defining enzyme and they're testing the way enzyme will be used for their own customers. And for that, they're using Riffyn to prove to their own customer that the way the enzyme will be used will be the right way for their own customers. So they're doing the experimentation for their own customer. And by doing that, they've been able to reduce by 50% the time to market to bring new enzyme on the market, for instance, around, for instance, biofuel, around food and bev, around many different applications. And this is a very, very interesting use case. In a nutshell, I would just like to, I would say, conclude very, very briefly on the sense that Riffyn is a software as a service offering, which means that you can start using Riffyn tomorrow. It's a multi-tenant software which is cloud-based, which gives you instant access, which also enable different teams to collaborate together in the world very easily. It's part of the Siemens ecosystem and allows you, because it's very open, to integrate seamlessly. I'll come back to that with the different questions. In a nutshell, Riffyn is integrated in our big program in Siemens that we call Enterprise Recipe Management, which is more a kind of end-to-end solution where Riffyn is, as I mentioned at the beginning, a kind of starting point to the journey for new product introduction, where Riffyn is capturing all the initial knowledge which is necessary to build the general recipe that will then go through different steps of the recipe transformation. And we can show you that a little bit later on. So I just want to give you a quick sneak peek of what we're capable to do. Riffyn is this, process design and execution system that you see here, and we'll be able to continue the journey once the general recipe is defined and go through a recipe transformation using other tools from Siemens to transform that and go eventually to execution system towards the control recipe definition level, which is even more complex towards manufacturing and so on and so forth. And of course, we can support you towards this journey of the recipe transformation. In a nutshell, we would like to help you going through this process design and tech transfer. And I will finish on this slide. I would like to thank you very much for today, for listening to that. We will open for different questions. I will let also Julien maybe make a final comment. My last sentence will be, if you are interested, there is a way to start a trial on Riffyn for free. So feel free to try it out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. So effectively, as you saw, Riffyn X can make the link between all the solution you have in your own environment, and it can help you to valorize your data and also to speed up your processes. So now effectively it's time to question. Feel free to ask. Thank you very much.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Julien. Thank you, Nicolas, for this great presentation. Thank you for your expertise on this topic. So as Nicolas mentioned, so you have time to type your question. I already saw 3-4 questions, so thank you for that. Don't hesitate. We have like 10 minutes, so if we don't have time to go over all of your questions, you will receive feedback from our speakers today offline. Do not hesitate. All right, gentlemen, let me see. I will try to take maybe the first one from Mr. Kiran. Can it be integrated to open data source?
So let me take the question, but I will also like Julien to give his opinion on it. Yes, it can be integrated with many different tools when you're talking about open database, open data source. I think this is a little bit the way. Riffyn has REST APIs which are available and that can be accessed. So of course the integration, except for the different tools where we already have an integration and a connector which is already existing, for the other open data source that you have, if you have your own data lake, if you have your own historian, if you have SQL database or other tools, we'll be able to integrate. And for that, we'll be able to define, the level of integration that you want, the level of data that you want to integrate. And then we will leverage on, I would say, teams with expertise, like the team of Julien, to be able to build this custom integration if we have to do some form of custom integration.
Perfect. Maybe it's linked, but Mr. Kiran also asked how much percentage it applies with real-time visualization.
So it's an interesting question. I would say the Riffyn has a double, I would say, a double usage. One is to capture the data, but not so much for real-time interaction, okay? If you are looking for real-time tools, we do have other real-time tools. Riffyn will be more to be able to grab the data, whether they are in real time or I would say after the fact, that you can aggregate the data. For real-time data, I would say we will leverage on other type of tools, even if, of course, we can capture the data. But for the real-time visualization, I think you should orient towards other tools. Riffyn is more around data manipulation, data extraction, data, I would say, exploitation, more than just visualization.
We have a question from Mr. Varambia. Thank you for an insightful presentation. On the CFR point slide 18, can you talk about the Alcoa Plus for data integrity on hindering and available across the platform?
Yes, thank you. Good question as well. So Riffyn is a tool which has been developed to be ready for CFR 21 Part 11 or HydroLex Part 11 as well. So ready to face authority, I would say, audits. That's the point that we want to make. We are developing the tools so you have everything which is ready to pass audits, and we can help you and support you to pass audits. Okay, so that's one part regarding CFR. Regarding Alcoa Plus, so Riffyn has followed, I would say, everything which is necessary around data integrity, and the way we have redundancy of the data, we have availability of the data, um, non-modification of the data. I cannot find my word, sorry. But we're following very strictly the way data integrity will be defined in a way that we ensure that we can follow and match the Alcoa Plus necessary requirements. And that's across the platform, so throughout the entire definition from the early stage to the late stage, whether we are in design mode or measure mode, following also user profiles and necessity. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let me double check, but I think we don't have any more questions. 6 minutes left. All right, maybe a final one. Let me see. So it reads, what are the differences between Riffyn X and other tools like ELN or ELIMS?
Okay,
yes.
I can.
So yeah.
Yeah, up to you. If you want to start the answer, and
no, please start.
Okay, so let's start by LIMS. LIMS is let's say linked to quality control. So you produce a lot, and then you take sample to validate the quality of the lot in order to release it. ELN is focused on experiments. So you are running experiment and you want to track what you do in your lab, and you also like to protect your IP. And Riffyn X, as we saw today, is focused on smart data management, process design, data capture and exploitation, etc. So Riffyn X can do the link between all the data coming from many different data sources, such as LIMS and ELN. But it's really, yes, focused on your whole process, starting from the early stages, I would say. Nicolas, if you want to add a few words.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the concept is slightly different. Riffyn can, of course, work in collaboration with the tools that you already have. But as Julien mentioned, I think there are different levels of expertise, and even in terms of data, because the lab notebook will be more focused on experiment and punctual experiment, and LIMS will be more focused on sampling. There is a lack of overall vision, and Riffyn can bring this kind of process-centric vision where you will be able to aggregate information coming from different sources. So it doesn't mean that it replaces the other tools. It's more working combination with the other. Of course, if you have nothing, you can start just with Riffyn. But I would say if you already have an ELN, if you already have a LIMS, then Riffyn complements the rest by bringing a data-centric approach and a more hypothesis-based around your experimentation, much more than just execution of your experimentation.
Perfect. Thank you so much, gentlemen. All right. Brief wrap-up. So before I end this session, as a reminder, this session is being recorded, so you will receive a follow-up email later today containing the link of the recording session if you want to share this webinar to your colleagues to watch it again. Also, you have a short survey, so please, it should be in the center of your window now, but if you could give us your feedback, it's already greatly appreciated. So thank you for that. And again, if you would like to start a free trial, if you want to download some resources, they are all available to you. So take a few minutes after this webinar. So again, I would like to thank our speaker today and experts. Let me push that to you. So special thank you to our guest today, Mr. Julien Alvaux, CEO from Soften Labs, and Mr. Nicolas Tessier, Riffyn X, Product Manager from Siemens Digital Industry Software. Again, you have their complete biography, so you can contact them after this webinar through LinkedIn or by email. And thank you all for joining and for your interest in Siemens Global webinars. That's it, 2 minutes. I will close this session. Have a great day or evening. Thank you so much, and thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. To learn more about this topic, check out the links in the description. And if you enjoyed what you saw, like the video and subscribe to the channel.